Another week, another video with the blockchain founder. Hey everyone, my name is Sahil and this is Crypto Clarity, the channel where we talk all about blockchain and cryptocurrency. So in today's video, we will be talking to Meike, who is the founder and CEO of Blockxspace, which is a blockchain provider and solution provider for different companies and governments around the world. Her goal is to create value in the space and bring in people into the blockchain space via different solutions that she is creating in her company. So let's get right into it. On this channel, I try to create real valuable content for people who are trying to learn about blockchain and cryptocurrency. And this is the reason I have created a whole playlist of interviews with different people from crypto and blockchain work. So this is your chance to learn about it, and you can watch that playlist just in the link in the description. You can click the subscribe button so that you can stay up to date in the crypto market and blockchain space, also by creating different businesses. This will give you more value than just buying cryptocurrency, because I believe that creating a business related to blockchain and cryptocurrency will be the future, and this is your chance to do it. That is the reason I am trying to bring a lot of founders and people who are working in the space. So make sure that you like and subscribe so that you can stay up to date. Hi, Meike. How are you doing? Thanks for joining me on Crypto Clarity.
Thank you for having me. Greetings to Melbourne from Germany.
Greetings to Germany. Yeah, that's other side of the world for us. We're doing this after a while. We have decided to do a chat. We've been following each other on LinkedIn, and it's great to see you here. Thanks for coming in and providing value to people who watch Crypto Clarity.
Yeah, excited to be on the show.
Yeah. So, as I mentioned in your introduction, you are the CEO and co-founder of Blockxspace, which is a blockchain consulting firm, and you provide consulting services to different companies, different governments as well. Um, I was really interested to see what you are doing in your day to day, how you got into this. So, we can do a deep dive into it and let people know what is the things going on in this space, and in the weeds of it. So, how would you like to explain that about yourself?
Well, the thoughts that we share here, I think it's also meant to inspire the audience to also
Yeah,
get into the space. And I
definitely.
mean, everyone has its own story how he came into the space. And I came into the blockchain space a couple of years ago. It's actually started when you see maybe to the right and left side, there are some
Yeah,
instruments standing.
yeah,
And I'm, one second. No, this one.
that's the one. Yeah.
uh, so um, I'm in the. I was coming from the events industry,
Okay.
and I made music for luxury events. I played the music, but I also did the management behind it.
Yeah.
And at some point, I thought I actually want to do something which is scalable. I mean,
Hmm.
in the music scene, I achieved kind of like all my goals. I made a solo tour. I traveled the world. I played
That's
all sorts of music, and I wanted to have something which is scalable, which is challenging also for me, and
yeah,
also which is a long-term
yeah,
thing. I think it's at some point with music, you get older, you might
yeah.
not be
Traveling
physically
around.
as strong, and yeah, it's challenging also
Yeah,
physically. So I thought, okay, let's do something with, for example, the digital world, with the internet.
yeah.
And besides doing my music business, I started studying business economics
Mm.
and started attending startup events. And on at one of these startup events, someone told me about the blockchain technology and digital assets. And alone, the use case that you can send a penny around the globe
Yeah,
within a second for a fraction of a cent was mind
exactly.
blowing to me. And it kind of blew my mind. I thought, this would, first of all, why is not everybody talking about it here in Germany?
Exactly.
Secondly, uh, yeah, why is not adopted? And it will solve the problem. Back then it was like 1 billion people. Now it's
Mhm.
1.7 billion people
Yeah.
uh, who don't have access to the banking world, who don't have a bank account.
Yeah.
So this is a huge problem for many, many people.
For you who is traveling around the world and who has seen, how the transactional financial world is, where you will be transferring money from different countries and spending money, taking money out from different banks, you would have seen that value in blockchain space.
Yeah. For example, a couple of years ago, my brother was in the USA, and
Mm.
there was a limit on his credit card or something, and he
Yeah.
didn't had access to more money. And he asked me,
Yeah.
"Well, Meike, could you please send me some money?" And I said, "Yeah, I can,
Yeah.
but it will arrive in 2-3 days, or maybe
Yeah.
even it takes longer time. And
Yeah.
then you have to pay like 2, 3, maybe even 5%."
Yeah.
Which is very, very expensive when you think about that. So, and now it's like
That's
this.
something I can relate to. That's why I'm shaking my head as well. It's like when I'm sending money to India, I have to think twice. Should I do this through bank? This, because it's always that thing in back of your mind that they will hold the money as well, and then the process will be longer than weeks, or sometimes it takes ages. So it's a great solution for that. And yeah, obviously you had that light bulb moment that even I had
Yeah.
regarding to cryptocurrencies.
Or maybe you also made the experiences that, I wanted to send to someone in India some money, like
Yeah.
little money, like $80 or something.
Yeah.
And it was blocked. And I tried on different ways to send
Yeah.
the money. It was always blocked, and it was not money laundering. It was nothing
Yeah.
very
You haven't done anything
suspicious or
wrong.
something. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But I couldn't simply transfer the money.
That's it.
And yeah, it's annoying for many sides. And now
Mm.
with the blockchain technology, it's also in many cases no problem.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they are also bringing something which exists in the banking world to
Yeah.
the cryptocurrency world.
Yeah.
It's called the FATF, FATF, which is applying, let's say, banking rules to the blockchain world, to virtual asset service
Crypto exchanges.
providers,
Yeah.
VASPs, and this will occur the same
Make it the
problems,
same thing.
kind of. Yes.
It actually happened a couple of days ago when I was using Binance. Earlier, I didn't have to answer any question, and now I had 7 questions about simple transfer that I used to do via cryptocurrencies as well. But again, that's the reason there are so many options. Someone will create a better exchange than that, and people will go to use it. So, what are your thoughts about that?
Well, it's actually destroying the initial thought of blockchain technology
Yeah.
to have a decentralized system and not to rely on centralized third parties.
Yeah.
I mean, the banking world is not bad in totally, let's say. There
Yeah.
are
All
good
the ways.
elements involved, but when it comes to like small payments, I think there shouldn't be anyone in between
Exactly.
and say unless, especially when you already did KYC and all
Yeah.
these uh,
Verification
checks,
processes. Yeah.
verification processes, exactly. So
Yeah.
at some point there has to be a cut. It's my
Yeah,
money. I
exactly.
want to use my money.
And
Yeah,
especially
so
like those small amounts where you are just spending like $100, and you have to wait, or you have to answer so many questions. It's like, come on.
yes, exactly. And when you talk about micropayments, we can talk about even cents.
Yeah.
Like yeah, so
And
under a
especially the
dollar.
freelancer around the world, they use that kind of service, and more people are going into remote work, and we will need that kind of adoption for cryptocurrencies, and better framework for it. but not making it the same as the current system. So yeah, how would you describe Blockxspace and your ideation of it in the crypto space?
So Blockxspace is a blockchain solution distribution channel, and we bring real-life blockchain applications to the public and private sector. And we also provide the consultancy around the technologies. So when talking about blockchains, or blockchain, there are actually thousands of different blockchains which have different metrics like scalability, like transaction costs, and so forth and so forth. And we provide this consultancy around the technology, but also how can make the blockchain technology and related technologies, processes, and companies much more effective, efficient, and secure. And we analyze industries and make suggestions for the applications. And then the companies say, okay, we want to have this applied or created in our company, and then we can develop these things and apply or implement them.
Yeah, so it's like a complementary solution for different companies who are coming to you, that you can create a literal solution in blockchain technology and give them a product that they want. It can be anything, public, private, or whichever blockchain they are using.
Exactly.
With them.
So at the end, the customer can decide which blockchain they want.
Yeah.
Beforehand, I was involved in another company which was only focused on a specific technology, and because of that, we actually had to decline many customers because they wanted to build then on another technology, which I could actually understand, because I think the agnostic approach is much better to serve the customer and fulfill the customer's wishes at the end. And I understand, for example, when you build an NFT game or a play-to-earn game, and there are huge communities in Polygon or Binance Smart Chain. And I do understand that someone wants to, Solana wants to build on these technologies and not on another one, even if the other one might provide cheaper transaction fees and so forth.
Exactly. That's the point of having a product ready for your customers, that they can choose which blockchain they're using. And again, it depends on their requirements, because these days there are so many communities built up around different blockchain. As you said, Polygon and Solana, and even Avalanche, they are getting bigger with their gaming community, especially these days. And that depends on your customer's choice if they can use that kind of product. So it in the end matters to them a lot, and obviously yourself who is providing the service.
Exactly. So we are open for any of these technologies and have specialized teams to build on specific technologies. Yeah, that's how it is. And I'm actually also involved in 2 further companies. I didn't announce them yet, so I cannot talk about these, all of them, but more is coming, and they are all kind of like working together.
Oh, amazing! That's great. So that's the point. You're doing so much in the space. That's why I wanted you to have on Crypto Clarity to discuss about that. So I had a interesting question regarding music and decentralization, because you come from the music background and you've been into events and everything around the world. So you would know that how decentralization would be a big thing, and a great way for artists in the space. So what do you say about that, and what are your thoughts about that?
Well, the music industry has actually several problems. So it started with the mass adoption of the internet. Then like Kazaa or what was it, Napster or something came up, where
Yeah.
and the sales of like CDs and stuff it broke. So everyone
Broke.
was
Yeah.
downloading music on the internet, and artists
Yeah.
were not selling music anymore, maybe in concert tours and stuff.
Yeah.
And today, with the internet, I mean, there are some people making a lot of money through YouTube, through Spotify. But
Yeah.
imagine there are musicians making wonderful music, putting them on Spotify. This music is heard by millions of people, and they
Yeah.
receive like $30 or something for
Yeah.
these millions of
Views
views.
or listens. Yeah.
Yeah, listens. Yeah. So, and this is not fair.
Yeah.
Uh, so the platform itself, they're making huge amounts of money, and then
From
the
someone else's
artist,
work.
the content creator gets such a
Yeah.
little amount, fraction of it. And with the blockchain technology, we can uh, more or less cut out the middleman, maybe
Mm.
the platform provider. What we will see in the upcoming Web3, where
Yeah.
we create kind of like a more decentralized internet, or
Yeah. Creator
a
economy.
so-called internet of value, where
Value.
someone who provides content, data,
Mm.
will be able to make money from it.
Monetize
At the
on it. Yeah.
moment, we monetize any sort of data when it's being consumed.
Mm.
Currently, I provide data on the internet. When I type things on the internet, then other parties are selling this data, and
Yeah.
others are profiting from it. But me, well,
Yeah.
at some point, okay, I might also profit to some extent to find better products and stuff.
Yeah.
But it would be even better, nicer for me if I provide all the data that I want. I have
Yeah.
the power over what I want to provide
Yeah.
for my data, and then I can profit from it, and not like
Get pennies
maybe
for, you know,
end of the month or so, but as an immediate stream of money,
money,
like from
income.
from one wallet to my non-custodial wallet, where the
Mm.
bank is not involved, but continuous micropayment stream.
Yeah.
And this is what I see, what is coming for the music industry, for all sorts of content creators,
Content.
but also for every single person, individual person in the world.
Exactly. That's the biggest thing about Web3 that we see now. Like, and people think that, it's just another version of internet, but it is more than that. It's providing value to anyone who has put in some work and who has put out something on internet. Like programmers, they didn't get that much earlier. All the internet was created just by voluntary work, and now even they get paid in cryptocurrency tokens. So that is the value with the whole thing, that it will bring out throughout the internet, and obviously people will have so much value out of it.
Yeah, also you as creating these series of
Yeah.
podcasts or live streams. Imagine each viewer would pay a few cents.
Mm,
That would even make a huge difference to
exactly.
now. Yeah, or pay as you consume. So if
Mm,
you only watch like 10 minutes, then you pay a fraction of
yeah.
cents for these 10 minutes,
Yeah.
or maybe 10 cents for the whole series or something like this.
Yeah.
Uh,
That
uh,
and that is
yeah,
coming.
yeah, and that's yeah. But this for you, each of us would already make a huge difference. Or
Mm,
thinking like there's a comment section, and when someone creates like comments, he might pay a cent or
yeah.
penny, but he also receives pennies when others like the comment
Like the
or
comments. Yeah.
comment on the comment.
Yeah.
So uh, like
It's
I call
engagement
it,
based value creation as well.
yeah, I call this a self-serving economy. It's
Yeah.
like a circle
Circular
circle
economy. Yeah.
economy.
Yeah, amazing. That's the concept that a lot of people talk about, and being a sovereign individual as well, and these microeconomies. People will have that creator economy, which is like, uh, a bubble of each person who have their network and their value around themselves and what they create in the world. And obviously this is something that excites us a lot, people who create. uh, that means a lot, because right now the current model of internet doesn't provide much value. Like, you can't monetize straight away. Even if you do monetize after like reaching their minimum requirements, you get to a point where you get some pennies out of it, and then you can't just sustain from that.
Yeah, for
Like, you
example, on YouTube, these minimum requirements are 4,000 watch hours and
yeah,
1,000 subscribers. Uh, I mean,
it's hard to
yeah,
get
how
for
long
that.
does it take?
Yeah,
And now with the blockchain technology, you could make money from the first few
first
on.
video, yeah. That's right. That's where I see so much value. When I started creating content, I was already looking into those, and I knew that it was not already there, but it was coming, because there are a few platforms already doing it. But again, they need to have better interfaces and more infrastructure around them, so that we can have better uh, platforms, obviously.
Yeah, the thing is, a platform like YouTube is also suppressing the development to
Yeah,
these new economic
yeah,
models. For example, when I knew some people who had YouTube channels, but
yeah.
also put their content on these
Odyssey, yeah,
blockchain platforms,
yeah,
and then they received messages from YouTube saying, "Okay, we demonetize you
yeah,
for being also on these other platforms."
yeah.
So this is preventing bigger
Community
YouTubers
violation.
to change to change actually the platform and
Yeah,
to I mean it's also hard to for players to say, okay, I don't start with YouTube, or I leave YouTube as a platform
yeah,
and try to get my followers to this platform.
yeah.
I mean, everyone is around
Hard.
YouTube or Vimeo, and it's hard to get the viewer base from one platform to the other
Yeah,
when everything is happening on
on one
YouTube,
thing.
for
Yeah,
example.
yeah. That is what is happening with short form content as well. Like, Instagram is fighting with TikTok, and uh, TikTok has a lot of user base, and they're trying to. They already have people coming in from Instagram now. Instagram is trying to become a copycat of them, but they're also holding back their own, consumers on their platform. So this, tussle between different social media platforms in the current, version of web is telling a lot to people that, okay, they need a better solution to this. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
you
what
you even saw that with the recent Andrew Tate saga that happened, where he was banned and he didn't say anything about it, and you know every content was against him rather than him putting out any content about it.
Yeah, that's a huge problem, I think. The
Yeah,
power of certain players over a whole career at the end. For example, I'm building now my LinkedIn channel or my LinkedIn
yeah,
profile, and I mean all the hours that is involved in this. At the end, there's an insecurity that at some point I say something, I write something about
yeah,
LinkedIn, and they simply can throw me from the platform without any notice.
yeah.
I got
Or
to know this
discussion
from
about it.
other. Yes, no discussion. It's just
Yeah,
simply gone.
just gone. Yeah,
Profile deleted.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
You if you
how
could
many
do the
years and
voice.
hours of work were involved, and
Yeah,
I think that's to some extent it's not fair. Maybe
mm,
there should be like also regulation involved that some people have rights
yeah,
also in regards to the social media platform and the data that is on there.
definitely. Yeah, that's where I think Web3 will help a lot. And again, it's not gonna come like that. It will be few years in transition, and then only we will have more ways for creators and different people who are providing value and spending their precious time. Look, like yourself and myself, I'm doing a full-time job. I'm trying to create content and you know also running a business and trying to keep this engagement high for everyone. So we would love that if that happens for us, and we can monetize our time that we spend every day on these platforms.
Yes. So one of the ideas how to create this new internet is
Mm.
that we actually hold the keys to the content, and
Yeah,
we give like access tokens. Like
license.
I have the content is on my personal storage or like on the blockchain itself,
Yeah,
and LinkedIn would get then an access token
yeah,
to put a post out there, or to have
like a
access
key.
to this data, like a
Yeah,
key. Yes, one spare key to my
yeah,
house.
yeah, exactly. That's right, and yeah, that way we own our own data, and yeah, that is the thing about blockchain, that it will enable us to own our personal data and have more power over it. Like even browsers and wallets that will enable that. So I think it is something to look forward to, and obviously help in building if people like yourself who are trying to create that space with companies like Blockxspace, and so much to do in this space, because so many different technologies coming in together. That's amazing to see.
Yeah. What's your business? Is it also connected with the blockchain space?
So not yet. I am doing web development. So I have a web development agency where I create social media content for different brands, and try to create their personal brand and story, and obviously all those web development tasks that people need. Even if you want to be on internet, you need a website. So that's the building blocks that I'm trying to provide as well. And again, I'm learning on my way with Crypto Clarity. That's a separate personal brand for myself, where I learn about crypto blockchain from people like yourself, and I also work in tech industry, so I try to learn that so I can provide that service in future as well.
Absolutely. I think now it's the best time to get into the space to learn, and
Yeah,
actually everyone is learning. There's
yeah.
no one who's not learning, and
No one is an
um,
expert yet.
it's well, an expert to some extent, an expert to most of the people. If
Yeah,
you know something more than
he's still
most
an
of the
expert.
people.
Yeah,
Yes, but I mean, the level of expertise will increase over time the more you
mm,
learn. And the thing is, even the knowledge that is out there, much of the knowledge is also not really correct. So
yeah,
you learn also with the experience. So, for example, many blockchains say, "Oh, we are highly scalable, or we are decentralized,"
yeah.
and so forth. And then, for example, Solana, yes, to some extent it can scale, but then there are these periods where there are off times.
Shutting down.
So,
Yeah,
like shutting
they're not a
down,
blockchain.
and yeah, it's not a blockchain, or it's not definitely not decentralized.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so
like
there,
it becomes like a database then, if it can crash anytime. It
yeah,
doesn't make
exactly,
sense.
exactly. So there's some information asymmetry.
Yeah,
And people can say something, oh, we are highly scalable, we are
yeah,
decentralized, but it's not actually true.
yeah.
And this
You see
what
that
we,
in the data.
yes, and we see that in the data, and we see it, we experience it.
Yeah.
So, for example, also I made some transactions with Ethereum from
Mm,
MetaMask wallet a few months ago,
mm.
and I needed to have this Ethereum Ether
Gas
at
fee.
some other place the fastest way as possible.
Mm,
So I chose fast, which was
yeah,
very expensive. And 1 or 2 days later, it's still wasn't at the other place. And I was thinking, okay, what happened?
Yeah.
And I actually had to. So when I clicked the send button, or this choose the
Yeah.
fastest transaction, the miners changed the
Change the
transaction
gas
fee.
fee. Yeah.
You changed the gas fee, and then
Yeah.
my the transaction was not processed,
Approved.
but approved. But still, I paid the gas fee for that transaction,
Yeah.
and the only thing that I could do is cancel the transaction and pay again to
Pay
the
again
transaction.
with a higher transaction fee.
Yeah, potentially, I don't know that one,
Yeah.
but I know I had to pay twice, and
Yeah.
this happens on a daily basis, and I think this is not a blockchain technology you
Yeah.
can really use. It's not
Really use, yeah.
usable in a way. I know there's a huge hype around Ethereum. It made many people rich.
Yeah.
Many people lost.
That's
but
why I feel Bitcoin is better still. Like, at least it does what it does, you know. It tells that it's doing this blockchain transaction and it does it in that much time. It's
yeah,
predictable.
exactly. It's predictable, yeah, and
Yeah.
doesn't have these huge spikes in transaction fees
Yeah.
and stuff. I mean, there are already much better technologies than Ethereum or
Yeah.
also BTC, but I mean, it's still a developing space.
Yeah.
Also, when it comes to NFTs, non-fungible tokens,
Yeah.
many people use it simply as a kind of like a pump and dump scam.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's nothing, no real value behind it. It's a hype. But most of these NFTs are actually no real NFTs.
Yeah.
So
It's
the
not
technology
making the real
and
use.
yes, it still has to mature.
Yeah.
And that's what
And
we
I
hope.
believe there are better use cases for NFTs, like, you know, antiques and having different kind of you know, collectibles that are like real world, attaching them to like an NFT so that it can be tracked and traced easily. So I think those are the kind of use cases that we will be seeing from now on. And, you know, I think brands are doing it slowly. They're understanding it that, okay, this has a unique value, and again, if you can track it on the blockchain and have a ledger about it, then again, it's a win-win for everyone, right?
Yeah, exactly. To give an example, if you buy Gucci shoes, which are pretty expensive, you want to know that these are real,
Yeah.
or these were not stolen or something.
Mm.
So there is a digital twin, an NFT connected to this physical item. And if someone wants to sell you these Gucci shoes without also transferring this NFT, which you can then approve, for example, on a website to prove, oh, this is really
Authenticity.
minted from Gucci themselves, then you know there's something wrong. It's maybe fake, imitated, then, or it's stolen, or something wicked. So that's
those are amazing. Yeah, amazing, because even before NFTs hit in the market, I was looking at VeChain. If you have heard about the supply chain token and how they are doing it with LVMH, the Louis Vuitton supply chain, they are already using QRs, codes with different products on them, so that they can track it on blockchain. So even, you know, even if it's just a QR code, it can still be tracked. It doesn't need to have a digital twin as well. If someone is trying to authenticate it, because supply chain is such a big issue, and again, you know, they need to track it properly, store it somewhere so people can relate that data to the original data. And that is the kind of things that, you know, blockchain is really capable of solving. And I don't see many people talking about those kind of use cases, because it's hype time.
Yes, exactly. I mean, the focus for the mass is maybe on making lots of money,
Yeah.
just speculating on any coins, or also called
Mm.
sometimes shit coins when there's
Shitcoins.
no use cases behind it,
Yeah.
or no real technology.
Yeah.
Um, and supply chain is actually one of the no-brainers, I would say.
Yeah.
Uh, Connecting the data with the blockchain, but also connect them with further technologies like IoT sensors. For example, the temperature is, for example, 42%, 43% of medicine or drugs that is
Yeah.
coming to India or also
Cause
to Africa are not properly working because two things.
storage.
The storage or the supply chain was not correct with the temperature was
Temperature.
not
Yeah.
correct, or there's also like a drug mafia who's exchanging the real medicine for fake, for placebos.
So
And
bad.
many people are dying for this reason. And now, connected with these IoT sensors and the blockchain, we could, and also geolocation and stuff, we could prevent many of these cases.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And
But
that is the
also,
reason blockchain is so important, because with IoT, AI, all of these technologies, uh, there will be so much data to hold, and you can't just hold that in a centralized server at AWS or Google Cloud Compute. You need to have those data points in different places where you can store them. So that's why blockchain is obviously no brainer if you look at it from a technology perspective.
yeah, where blockchain is a universal source of truth.
Yeah.
When so many stakeholders are involved in supply
Yeah.
chain, it's usually not two people, but
Yeah. Who can
much more
decide?
people. And then when each stakeholder can also prove, okay,
Approve,
here's something
authenticate.
wrong, and then he can make
Flag it.
someone else beforehand accountable, or say, okay, here it happened. For example,
Exactly.
it also happened with honey, where honey is punched at some point,
Yeah.
and where they say, okay, this and this amount of honey is produced in this region, but it's even not possible to create so much honey in that region. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like fake honey.
Fake
It's
honey,
like
yeah, then
syrup or something, and now you can make people accountable for that. And whoever put the data on the blockchain, you can go back to this person and say, okay, here we know
what happened here?
that's
Yeah.
not true. It's not, these and these things are not true, and we can bring you to court. We have the data. That's the thing.
Yeah, that saves a lot of time and effort for people to authenticate things that are, that don't need so much of paperwork and so much of management in real life. And like we
Yeah.
are literally wasting time and resource in that, management of people and supply chain or whatever. It's a lot of noise in there. So if the processes
Exactly.
can be made better, then why not with technology?
Yeah. I always say make processes much more effective, efficient, and secure.
Yeah.
These are the points how I think blockchain can help in all sorts of industries. Combination with further technologies like smart contracts, recording contracts, and so forth.
Yeah, so many of them. And yeah, especially with the healthcare example that you gave, because I am working my full-time job in healthcare and I see things coming in on a daily basis and things being missed as well. And, they're being stored in a different fashion than they should be. And that makes a lot of sense. You need to have that specific time frame for them, timestamps which you can target and locate. So it makes a lot of sense to have those kind of use cases in coming years, and I believe that a lot of people are working on it.
Yes. Also talking about healthcare sector or pharma industry, I actually gave like a full day workshop in Amsterdam in April this year for this industry. And also talking about patient data, electronic health records. Currently, when you go to a doctor, you always have to tell your story again. What happened, and what are the things that you cannot take, and where are the allergies, and so always the same thing. And imagine having one universal source of truth with
Hmm.
the data, and where you have the power
Shared
over the
privately.
data. For example, I also
Yeah.
don't know which doctors have currently access to my personal data.
Yep.
And these doctors might not have the best cybersecurity system,
Sure.
and
Yeah,
someone
definitely.
can get into the system, knows the data. If
Your data
someone
is
has, for
lost.
example, cancer or other sensible HIV and other sensible sicknesses, this might be used against someone
Against them. Yeah.
on the when it's public on the internet.
Internet
And
out there.
now
Yeah.
with the blockchain, this is much more secure. For example, I give the access token, I take the access token back from the doctor. When if I want to have service by a doctor, I need to give him the access token.
Yeah.
So and I can take it away if I'm not there any longer.
Yeah.
And
You can remove
yes,
the
sir.
access from it just with your, your own portal that you will have for your own data.
Yes, exactly. But currently, even there are already these solutions out there from a regulatory standpoint. The governments and they are currently not trusting into this new, don't have any trust in this new technology. They rather prefer the
The
old
old
system.
paper ways.
Exactly. And
Yeah, that
it
happened with
takes
me as well. I joined another session where healthcare professionals were talking about blockchain and trying to understand, and I saw the uh, disagreement with doctors, especially who have been into medicine, and obviously they have done their uh, studies and research in previous years, and they still don't think that this is a viable solution for them. Although this is going to be really helpful, they don't see it as reliable for them, because they have heard the cryptocurrency term and they think that okay, it's just that, it's just a fad, and should not be used like that. It's not secure for them.
Yeah, so things still take time,
Yeah,
but
but
yeah.
have you seen any solutions deployed in healthcare yet, or um, is it just a work in progress?
Well, the supply chain, I've seen this, and there are also processes to put the vaccination, the medicine, everything
Yeah,
on the supply chain, because there are some cases where you think, or where you could think the vaccination or vaccine didn't work properly because the
yeah,
supply chain was not good enough.
exactly.
And this is what I know one of my researcher friends from the UAE wants to prove. They're just doing the research on that one, and where else in the healthcare sector? I mean, there are many cases. Also, for example, medicine prescriptions, or like these, these. It's called prescription, right?
Yeah,
No, not
prescription. Yeah,
prescription. It's when you buy a medicine and it says, okay, these are the when you take it and stuff.
yeah, yeah.
And there are
Just the
sometimes
instructions.
updates.
Yeah,
Yeah, like instructions. Yeah.
yeah,
There are sometimes updates to that.
yeah.
These ones, and they could also be put on a blockchain, and you could check. Okay, this is the right one. This is the latest one. Or also, what I heard from some pharma companies, that they had some sales in medicines that they took from the market since several years. So very strange things that where you know that someone on the global market is selling your medicine, which doesn't exist actually anymore.
Yeah.
So someone is selling
Selling
fake
that.
medicine. So
It's so much counterfeit.
Yeah, exactly. So these things could also be checked through the blockchain, but it's not there yet. So
Yeah, we're
many
slowly
things
building
to
in this
evolve.
space. Yeah, I think that's the reason we are talking today. That we have that kind of sensible conversation about blockchain and cryptocurrency, where at least it gives people like ourselves, or people who are starting out, an idea to start somewhere. There are so
Yeah,
many opportunities where they can start, and at least they have a passion in something. They can think of a solution. That's it. And as we are talking right now, people can just have a conversation, because it's a small space still, so it's easier to have conversation with people who are doing stuff in there. And
yeah.
with
But
with
where
internet,
Yeah,
it's
but where
easier
I see the future is that you use the blockchain without even knowing you use the blockchain.
knowing it. Yeah,
You might use the fiat money, but it's immediately somewhere, and
exactly.
you can check it on the blockchain if you know how to check it on the blockchain.
Yeah,
But you
it's
don't
just
need
like using a mobile phone today.
exactly, or
It
writing
should be
an
like
email,
that.
sending an email. I don't know how these let's
SMTP
say.
work.
Yes, I don't need to know. I simply need
Yeah,
to know how to write an email and click the send button,
send
and it's
button. Yeah,
magically on the other side of the earth, like immediately.
magic
So,
internet money.
yes, and this is how I see it with the blockchain technology. And I actually thinking about my further companies that will be announced.
Yeah.
I see the no-code future is coming.
Hmm.
So where not only this centralized or centralization of the systems are coming, but also the centralization of the power, the
Hmm.
decentralization of the power.
Yeah.
So, for example, at the moment, I have to rely on developers to create an application.
Yeah.
Or back in the days when I wanted to create a website, I needed to hire a developer. Please
Yeah.
develop my website. Today, if you have some skills,
Yeah.
digital skills, you can simply use WordPress and some templates,
Drag
and
and
it's
drop.
just drag and drop, exactly.
Yeah.
And this is also the future when we talk about applications, APIs, and websites.
Yeah.
Also in an extended form.
Exactly.
So everyone who has domain knowledge, who wants to create a commercializable app for App Store, Google Play, this is
Just use
already there.
templates. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Or drag and drop,
Yeah.
and can even create like very complex enterprise-grade applications. It's coming. It's actually already there.
Yeah.
And also how to put data on the blockchain, how to have your own blockchain data management, or if you want to put lots of data, lots of transactions on the blockchain, it will be so super easy that it's like a simple push button, and it's on the blockchain. Imagine having like a Dropbox, and there's like a button where you can say, oh, you want to have this data on the blockchain, and you simply click the button and it's there.
Yeah, that's the most important part in any technology. It should be easy to use, and the interface should be something that everyone can be easily understanding. So that is what we need in the space, and I think it, as you say, it will be coming, and it's already there in some ways. So very excited to see all that stuff happening, and thanks for coming on to Crypto Clarity, Meike, and I would definitely chat with you about your next projects when you have announced them, and we can talk more about them. Thanks for coming.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me again, and get into the space, and keep on building.
Yeah, keep on building. Thanks.